One of the things we can do with lenses is combine them in interesting ways to make interesting images. Let's start with a setup that we've already seen. We have a converging lens here with the screen. If we place the screen in the right location, an image will form, just as it did in the first example. But what can we do with this image now? Lenses are, well, just lenses. They can't tell the difference between an image and an object. So we can use the image that is being formed by this lens as an object for a second lens. We're going to use two converging lenses. The first lens makes the image here. Converging lenses can create both real and virtual images. The image created by a converging lens will be real if the object is farther away from the lens than the focal point is. And it will be virtual if the object is closer to the lens than the focal point is. We're taking this image to be our object for the second lens. Let's place this lens relatively close to this location and see what happens. Now this might be a little bit weird to think about, since we no longer have any sort of physical representation of the object here. But as far as the second lens is concerned, the image created by this first lens is just as good of an object as any other object. How do we see a virtual image? Well, we do it by looking through the lens, as in the first case. But what do we expect the orientation of this second image to be? Well, for converging lenses, the orientation of the image depends on whether the image is real or virtual. If the image is real, then it will be flipped as compared to the object. And if the image is virtual, it will be in the same orientation. Our first lens creates a real image about here. Our second lens then creates a virtual image of that real image. So the first image is real and therefore flipped, and the second image is a virtual image of that flipped image. So the virtual image should have the same orientation as the real image being created by this lens. In other words, it should be flipped. Notice that the horizontal arrow is pointing to the left in this image, but is pointing to the right in the object itself. This is what we expected.